Remember the time when God told Moses, speak to the rock. But Moses didn't speak to the rock. Moses did what? He struck the rock in Numbers chapter 20. Why is that? Moses trusted in his ability, his strength, and not in God's strength. What Moses forgot was his humble beginnings. Because in Exodus chapter 4, Moses said, Lord, you can't use me. I can't talk. Moses had what? A humble heart, a contrite spirit. That's what God wants from each of us. Not to be go and think it's all about me. It's all in my strength. It's all in my intellect. No, God wants us all to be on our knees and say, Lord, if you don't do it, I can't do it. You got to go before me, Lord Jesus. God does not want a boasting heart. What God wants is a believing heart on what he can do, my good brothers and my good sisters.
People come,
people go.
people go.
Your life has been out of control. You're confused. But don't worry.
Your soul, it will get better.
It's gotta get
Better. It will get better.
It's gonna be
Better. It will get better.
'cause God is in control, y'all. Hey. Thank you, Lord.
Now we're in the Word of the living God. We're going to be in the great book of Matthew, chapter number 17, verses 14 through 21. And it reads, when they came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him. You unbelieving, perverse generation, Jesus replied, how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me. Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus and asked, Lord, why couldn't we drive it out? Verse number 25, because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. And all of God's people said, amen. And this morning, we want to briefly talk to you about bend the curve. Bend the curve. Not flatten the curve. Bend the curve. In life, we love to bend rules to save us. We love to bend the law to help us. We love to bend the truth to benefit us. And in the church, we love to bend the scriptures to justify us. For the past 5 months, the main focus in this country has been to bend the curve to slow the infection of the coronavirus that's taken over 132 lives. Bend the curve, it represents the peak or the highest point of infections. What doctors and scientists and government officials have been trying to do is flatten the curve, as you can see on this graph right here. At that highest peak, it's showing you cases without protective measures. And the goal is, as we put on masks and social distance, to try to get that rate down below that curve. And why is it so important? It's so important because there are only so many hospital beds, there's only so many hospitals that they can accommodate people who are infected with this virus. My good friends, not only do we need to slow down the infection rate of this coronavirus, which we must all take very seriously, but I believe that we also need to slow down the infection rate of unbelief, of not truly believing that our God is able. We need to slow down the infection rate of being uncommitted, unwilling to surrender and to submit our lives unto God Almighty. We need to slow down the infection rate of being unfaithful in serving our God. We have a high infection rate in the church of unbelief, uncommitment, and unfaithfulness. Someone would say, well, what are the symptoms of a high infection rate? Well, it's based upon where there's a high rate of unforgiveness, high rate of impatience with each other, a high rate of being judgmental, a high rate of being very prideful, of having envy, of being self-centered, and even having that spirit of greed. When we break the curve to these high rates, how do we do this? We do this just like they said with this coronavirus. We must put on our protective measures. What are our spiritual protective measures? When we put on our spiritual protective measures, then we have the opportunity to drive down the high rate of backsliding, to drive down the high rate of being hypocritical, to drive down the high rate of having a hard heart. You see, not only must we follow the directions and stay home as much as we possibly can in our physical homes, but if we're really going to drive down the infection rate of not being who God has called us to be, we must adhere to Psalms 91 that also tells us we need to stay home. For whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge. He is my God in whom I trust. We must stay home in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalms 23 and verse 6, it also tells us, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Where? When I dwell in the house of the Lord. And then in Psalms 24, it tells us, one thing I've asked of the Lord, that will I seek, that I must do what? Dwell in the house of the Lord. As we dwell in His house, we hide ourselves and we prepare ourselves that we do not participate in those behaviors that can become detrimental to our lives. Yes, we need protective gear in the natural, and we need protective gear in the spiritual. You see, not only must we wear our masks to protect us from each other, and please wear your mask, but we as Christians must always be mindful never to leave home without your spiritual protective gear. As Ephesians 6 tells us, put on the whole armor of God to protect us from the wiles of the enemy. Make sure that you put on that helmet of salvation. Make sure you have on the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the belt of truth, and the sword of the Spirit. When we protect ourselves, when we prepare ourselves in the spiritual realm, this will decrease our rate of infections in our church and our personal lives, and increase the rate of God's perfection in our lives. When we do this, we will increase the rate of having more joy of the Lord, which is our strength. We will increase the rate of more generosity, more volunteerism. We will increase the rate of being more generous, more giving more of our time, our talents, and our talents. This is when we will begin to bend the curve. So my question this morning, are you willing to bend the curve of the mountains that stop each of us from fulfilling our purposes in life? What's stopping us from being all that God has created us to be? What's in our way from pursuing our purpose or our destiny in God? What's intimidating us from not having the courage or the wherewithal to go after a better life in Christ? What's denying us from living our dreams? This morning, it's time to change our mindset, our perspective, our outlook, and our viewpoint on our mountains. Yes, no matter how big or how small our mountains is, it's time to bend the curve, to move your mountains. Move the mountain of accumulating debt. Move the mountain of gaining excess weight because of this pandemic. Move the mountain of having distress and distance in your relationship, of not speaking, of not getting along, of wondering how we ever get together. Move the mountain of family challenges, of siblings not getting along, of taking care of other relatives. Move the mountains of the challenges of dealing with our health problems, kidneys, lungs, our mind, our mental issues. Move the mountains in our corporate careers. Move the mountains of political corruption, corporate corruption, judicial corruption, law enforcement corruptions. Move the mountains, my brothers and sisters, even within the church, where we have corruption with our leaders. All of these represent difficulties that many times seems impossible to be able to be moved. But on the mountain, what I love about the mountain gives us two sides to it. There's a side that appears to be painful, but then there's a side that appears to be promising. If you think about it in the Bible, Moses receives the 10 Commandments. Where? On top of the mountain. The prophet Elijah was on the mountain and he had heard a light sound in 1 Kings 19 and 12. Jesus gives the Beatitudes where? On the top of the mountains. And here in chapter number 17 of Matthew, the glory of Jesus revealed to Peter, James, and John, where? On the top of the mountain. So mountains have difficulties, but mountains also represent our destinies. I give you this second perspective because many times our difficult mountains escort each of us into the mountaintop of being in God's presence. We have mountains in life because that's the only way sometimes we will grow in life. There's a quote, my good friends. No one grows when they are comfortable in life. We grow the most when we are most uncomfortable in life. We grow the most when we are the most uncomfortable in life. You see, we reach the curve of our mountains that we cannot avoid. When we feel we're at a point in our lives where we find ourselves making the following comments. And you can show me a little love if I hit home here. When we find ourselves sometimes just saying, I just can't take it anymore. When we find ourselves in enough is enough. I had it. I can't do it. I won't do it. I'm done. And then, no, my friend, no. It can't get any worse. Yes, my good brothers and my good sisters. When we're making these comments, this is a sign that we're at our limits. So how do we break the curve? We break the curve as we bring up this clip with Governor Cuomo from New York. And he gives us some words of wisdom of how New York was able to bend the curve. And I love it if we pay special attention as we hear Governor Cuomo challenge the people in New York and challenge America and challenge the president. This is how we bend the curve. We bend it 1851, as we see right here in the clip. The clip that goes, it basically stands telling them that the mountain is not reduced by itself. The curve does not go down by itself. He goes on to say that the curve, you can take away the clip, the curve goes down, he says, not by what God does. It goes down by what you and I do. Yes, by what you and I do. Because God gives us common sense, God gives us doctors, God gives us healthcare professionals that have informed us and told us what we must do to bend this curve. And so he says, we must acknowledge it, we must be aware. Be aware of the mountains that are in front of us. So what's my point to us this morning? Don't be afraid of your mountains. As we become aware of them, then we must take action. We just can't look at them and think that the mountain's going to move by themselves. No, we must take action. That's why we can't avoid them. And then it says that we must be committed to bending the curve. So just like we're experiencing a crisis in our nation, our community today, in our text this morning, there's a father who is experiencing a crisis with a life or death situation that required immediate intervention to prevent his son from dying. And so in Matthew chapter 17, verse 14 through 16, it reads, and when it came to the crowd, a man approached Jesus and knelt before him. Lord, have mercy on my son, he said. He has seizures and suffering greatly. He often falls into the fire, into the water. I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him. The Father's response tells us one thing, that there was an expectation that the disciples should have the ability to heal this man's son. Just like there's a great expectation for the church today to bring more healing and break down the injustices that exist in our communities today. Now is not the time for the church to be silent, to be quiet, to be afraid. Now it's time for the church to be on the front line and willing to do whatever it takes to heal our nation. And so, here, this man, not only did the man have an expectation, but Jesus also had expectation that the disciples, they had been around him. Not only they've been around Jesus, but in Matthew 17, we see Jesus say, you unbelieving, perverse generation, how long should I have to put up with this? So if I could paraphrase the text, I believe Jesus wanted to say to the disciples, how long do I have to bend the curve on how little faith that you have? Jesus is upset because they have been empowered with authority. They had the ability, but they were not applying the ability or authority that he had placed within him. Matthew 10 and 1, Jesus called the 12 disciples to him and he gave them what? Authority to drive out impure spirits and to heal every disease. So he had equipped them, empowered them, and enhanced their ability to make a difference. And guess what? They had even experienced some success. In Luke 10 and 17, they came back to 72 return with joy and said, Lord, even the demons submit to us in your name. They have power. They experienced success. But what happened? Why could they not heal this man's son? Why could they not bend the curve to this man's crisis? My good friends, my brothers and sisters, there's a quote. The challenge is the disciples' failure is not because they lost their faith. The disciples' failure is because they had misplaced their faith. Amen. You see, it's just like the church. We have not lost our faith. We have just misplaced our faith. From being empowered by God to being entertained by Gucci. From being enlightened by the word of God to being consumed with the breaking news of CNN, Fox, and NBC. From being equipped with our spiritual warfare to being equipped with the spirits of Jack Daniels, spirit of vodka, and Crown Royal. From being embraced with the love of God to being entrapped by the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. I've come to encourage you this morning. Don't beat yourself up when you experience failure. Be encouraged and know that your faith is not lost. It's just been misplaced. Here's another quote for you. So don't replace your faith with reality TV. Don't replace your faith with diet and exercise. No, sir. Don't replace your faith with more money, more money, more money. Don't replace your faith with positive motivation. Don't replace your faith with drug and alcohol. Don't replace your faith with things that cannot sustain you but only disappoint you. No. The quote is this. Don't faith, return to your faith. That's what we must do. Don't replace it. Return to your faith. As Hosea 6:1 tells us, come, let us return to the Lord. That's what God is calling us to do. That's what this coronavirus, this pandemic should be causing each of us. Return back to the Lord. So failure is not because we lose our faith. Failure is because we have what? Misplaced our faith. But don't replace it. Return back to it. So here's some examples as we see in the beginning of chapter 17. Jesus on the mountaintop with Moses and Elijah. These individuals help give us some light on what happened to the disciples. You see, Moses misplaced his faith. In the Old Testament, you remember the time when God told Moses, speak to the rock. But Moses didn't speak to the rock. Moses did what? He struck the rock in Numbers chapter 20. Why is that? Moses trusted in his ability, his strength, and not in God's strength. Moses thought what? He started to get what? A little spiritual arrogance, a little spiritual pride. He thought that the water flowed because of my biceps, my triceps. Moses thought he had something to do with the plagues of Egypt, crossing the Red Sea, manna from heaven. What Moses forgot was his humble beginnings. Because in Exodus chapter 4, Moses said, Lord, you can't use me. I can't talk. Moses had what? A humble heart, a contrite spirit. That's what God wants from each of us. Not to be go and think it's all about me. It's all in my strength. It's all in my intellect. No, God wants us all to be on our knees and say, Lord, if you don't do it, I can't do it. You got to go before me, Lord Jesus. So what am I trying to say? There's another quote. God does not want a boasting heart. What God wants is a believing heart on what he can do, my good brothers and my good sisters. You see, a time after walking with his faith in God, he began to do what? Misplace his faith. But not only did Moses misplace his faith, Elijah did as well. He lived off food that birds brought to him. He lived off a meal from a widow and her son. He lived off of oil that never ran dry. He drank out of a brook until it ran dry. And he saw God in a place to provide for every need. Until one day, after watching God do an incredible and unthinkable act of building up his faith, God consumed the offering on Mount Carmel. He licked up the water and destroyed the false prophets. But look what happens to Elijah. He hears the voice of Jezebel threatening Elijah's life. And then what does he do? He forgets and he misplaces his faith. My good brothers and my sisters, now here with the disciples, after being commissioned to heal the sick and raise the dead and cast out demons in chapter 10, having done those things suddenly with Jesus up on the mountain because Jesus not in their vicinity. Now what happens? They can't seem to do what they're supposed to do. So Jesus upset. He's angry. How long do I have to be with you? How long do we have to babysit you? How long? How long until we grow and mature in our faith? There's another quote that goes like this. It's not the magnitude of our faith that's the core problem. It's the direction of our faith. Being in the right God that truly counts the most. So it's not the magnitude. You see, sometimes you got to have more faith. You got to have more faith. Well, here in this text today, it's not about the magnitude. It's about the direction. To making sure our faith is in the right direction. You see, my good friends and my good sisters, misplaced faith is worthless faith. Misplaced faith is worthless faith. And these disciples, just like Moses, got to thinking that the water from the rock was all about them, and Elijah thinking that defeating Ahab and Jezebel was all about him. And the disciples had become accustomed to healing the sick, raising the dead, and casting out demons. They forgot it was not about them, but it was all about Christ. My good friends and all those that are watching me, When Moses struck the rock to get the weather, he moved from trusting God to thinking it was about him. That's a dangerous transition. When Elijah decided he could not survive without Jezebel hunting him down, he stopped trusting in God, then licked up the offering of the water of Mount Carmel, and he started trusting in himself. That's dangerous. When the disciples couldn't cast out the demons, this boy dealt with their faith was misplaced in believing that there was something that they couldn't do. That's dangerous. Most of our problem with faith we have in our life is a result of transition from faith in Jesus to depending on ourselves. That's a dangerous transition. You see, the truth is, they could not cast out demons any longer. Why? All because they had what? Misplaced faith. Even though they did it before, they could not do it now. And the dangerous difference is that when Jesus was with them, they could. But when Jesus was not, they couldn't. So bending the curve is not about taking credit or seeking the applause of life. It's about knowing if the Lord is not on our side, we shall not be successful. It's about our desire to take what belongs to God and always give God praise and glory and honor. So the main point of this lesson here this morning is expanding the disciples, expanding you and I's ability to comprehend not how great our faith is, but how great our God is. You see, moving mountains is not about how great your prayer life is. It's not about how great you sing, how preach, and you clean or you usher. It's not about how great you are, but it's how great our God is. It's not about the quantity of our faith. It's about the quality of our faith. It's about the authenticity of our faith. It's all about the sincerity of our faith. You see, the authenticity of our faith is not tested when we're on the beach in Miami where nobody should go today. Our faith is tested when we find ourselves in the fire. Who do we turn to when nothing seems to be changing our life? Who do we seem to turn to when we run out of answers? We have no one to call. Who do we turn to when we've prayed, we've fasted, we've anointed, we read the word, we spoke the word, we stood on the word, we trusted the word, but that change does not come? God's asking, will you still trust me then? Will you still rely upon me then? So Jesus, what does he do right here? He totally eliminates the desire to boast about how much faith we have. It's all about genuine, precious, having an intimate and that faithful walk. The amount of faith, my good brothers and sisters, to move a mountain is not great. Jesus says, if you look at this little picture right here, he says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed. It's the size of a mustard seed, the smallest of the smallest of seeds. The mustard seed, the insignificant seed. What is this teaching us today? It's not the size of the seed that determines the destiny of the seed. Because the small seed, when it's all done, what it has the potential to do, it blossoms into a huge tree like this. So it's not the size of the seed that makes the difference. It's the substance within the seed that makes the difference. Within the seed are the ingredients for greatness. It's in the seed. The Lord wants each of us to be saints of substance, who are not shallow in our faith, to not surrender our lives. God wants us to be saints that bring value, saints that bring creativity, saints that have a positive impact, saints that are difference makers, saints that are totally dependable upon Him. God does not want each of us to be shallow in our faith, one foot in and one foot out. God is telling us this morning to get off the milk, get the meat of the Bible in us. My good brothers and my good sisters, now that we have tasted that the Lord is good, we have to be saints of substance. God does not want us to be timid with no courage to confront or to conquer our fears in life. God wants each of us to be saints with substance, with character, with integrity, solid in our faith. I love this story. It's the smallest of the seeds, but it produces the greatest and the largest of the trees. Jesus is not asking us to have great faith, to brag about. He's just not asking us to have great faith to judge each other. He's not asking us to have great faith that we don't take a test we need to take. He does not ask us to have great faith not to go to the doctor, not to wear a mask, not to social distance. He's not asking us to have great faith to tell everybody else of what they're not doing or what they can't do. He's asking us not to have great faith, to have pride. Jesus wants each of us to have faith like a mustard seed. The seed is silent, it's not loud. The seed is not noticeable. The seed is not trying to be up front. The seed is small, it's insignificant. And it's all about being placed in the right soil, the right surroundings, and under the right sun. So as I close this morning, don't be afraid of your mountains. Don't walk away from your mountains. And don't throw in the towel of your mountains. Jesus did not give us a formula to fix our problems. Jesus gave us a foundation to fix our faith. So my brothers and my sisters, we bend the curve when we stop misplacing our faith, not replacing it, but returning to our faith. You see, the disciples had been around Jesus, but here's another moment, another opportunity for them not only to be around Jesus, but to make sure that we have been anointed, we've been equipped, we've been empowered, and to never think more of ourselves than we are. Never forget it's the power that's within us that allows us to be his vessels, that allows us to be his lifeline, that allows us to be his blessing. Whatever we have is not for us, it's to be a blessing to other people. And so God wants us to be like a seed that's planted where we are anchored in Christ, that our lives are aligned with Christ. And so whatever we do, they will be accountable to Christ. So my brothers and my sisters, let's bend the curve by not misplacing our faith, not replacing, but returning to our faith, by being anchored in the Lord, aligned with the Lord, and our lives are accountable to the Lord. Let's not think more of ourselves. Let's not think that it's all about me. But let's just think and know that it's the grace of God that he chooses to use you and I. Let's bend the curve by not misplacing our faith, not replacing our faith, but returning to our faith. May God bless you and may keep you in Jesus' name.